We have a very dynamic session, and as you know, part of this ecosystem are the startups. So we have here Martina Longi and Ivan Cazzol from Skipso. They are very experienced with the startups world. So they will manage this session that will be very dynamic and presenting young and not so young entrepreneurs and people have idea, patent and new technologies. And you know the focus is the Winter Olympic Games, but anyway, the most interesting part is to talk to startup. So Martina and Ivan, please.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys? No? I don't know. Okay. Anyways, I can start from here. Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. First of all, thank you very much to Paolo Vercesi to invite us and of course the cluster AFIL. I will just take 3 minutes just to introduce who I am, Skipso, and later I will leave the stage to my colleagues Martina Longi. She will drive us into a very interesting journey exploring a strategic startup that might can impact the Olympics game in 2026. Very briefly, I'm Ivan Cazzol. I'm in charge of sales and innovation for Skipso. Skipso is an international company focused on innovation. So we support our client, large corporation, through our innovative platform, supporting them to manage internal and external innovation program, but also we support with the advisory service, means that we are connecting large corporation with the international innovation ecosystem. When I'm saying international innovation ecosystem, I'm referring to incubator, accelerator, cluster, VC, and of course, startups. And we promote the collaboration between these entities. Let's say just 2 words about one of the most important pillars for Skipso. We strongly believe in clusters in the ecosystem, not only to support the growth of young companies such as startups, but also to foster innovation inside large corporations. For us also it's most important once we are supporting in the day by day in the delivery of the programs, verify the impact of the technology that can have inside the environmental. For us, the twin transition, so not only foster the digitalization and the innovation inside the company, but also the sustainability of the solution is one of the master and one of the most important pillars. As I promised, I took 3 minutes, and now I will leave the stage to my colleagues Martina Longi that she will introduce the startup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan. Okay, so today we are going to present 4 startups for Cortina 2026, the Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games. The startups that we will see today address the major problem in arise the ski experience, both for single user, for group, but also for an international event such as Cortina 2026. So the first startup that I would like to leave the word is Knowit. Knowit is a website and app that allows the mountain enthusiast to book everything by just some clicks on their app, and you can book a solution but also a lot of product. So the people that can use the app, they will allow them to avoid queues and other problems. So I will leave the stage to Pasquale Scopelliti, co-founder and CEO of Knowit.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pasquale Scopelliti. I'm CEO and co-founder, actually, of Sportit. That's the... how can I change the slide? The green one?
You know, working with technology.
So in the meantime, I was saying I'm a CEO co-founder of the name of the company is actually Sportit. That's because we started 7 years ago. Working now? It's working now? Ah, okay, amazing. Thank you. We started 7 years ago. Our company is dedicated to online travel sports. So we have different brands working in different sports. But as Martina said, today I want to talk about Snowit, since we are talking about Winter Olympics. Snowit is actually one of the most important products we have. It's the first we launched on the market, so it's also the one that takes the biggest part of our business. It's basically an online platform that allows users to book everything they need to go skiing, from a single platform, website, and app. To go a little bit more into the details, basically, in our platform, you can book ski tickets, ski rental, lessons, experiences, and also a full package, holiday package with the hotel inside. And our platform, it's a very special one because we have worked to integrate our system with all the booking systems of the different providers in the markets. As you may know, especially in Europe, the ski sector is a very fragmented sector, so it's made of very small operators, ski stations that are not aggregated. So there is a lot of work behind in order to make this happen. And just to give you an example, I want to tell you a little bit how one of our main service works, that is the ski ticket. The skiers or snowboarder in this room knows that, especially in Europe, when you go skiing, you need something like this, to enter the slope, because unfortunately, at the moment, you still need the physical support. Every ski station has their ski card, or it's just a piece of paper, but you still need something that is physical. So what we did is basically was to create a ski card that is compatible with potentially all ski resorts in Europe, because we are integrated with the 3 different ticketing systems, so that a user with a single ski card can purchase easily the ski ticket from our app and paying with credit card, PayPal, or Satispay, or whatever. And once he purchased the ski ticket, he can go skiing directly without doing a queue at the ticket cash desk. Another system that we have is to give the possibility to the user to purchase a full ski holiday. So our platform is completely integrated with different systems that allows us to have real availability of beds in basically all the ski destinations in Europe. So from our app, it's very easy to purchase a full ski holiday that is normally hotel plus ski ticket in all the destination, and to add all the other services, so ski rental, ski schools, and so on. So it's also very easy to compare price between different destinations. So basically, it's a platform that is really for tourists that want to spend days on the mountains. Our app is considered one of the best in the market. We have more than 2,000 reviews, 4.8 on both stores. And today we are present in more than 75 ski resorts, mainly Italy, that is, of course, it's the country where we started, but also Swiss, and now we are starting our expansion in France. During this season, more than 280,000 skiers used our solution to purchase a product or a full holiday. As you can see, still our user base is more focused in Italy, but now we are working to grow abroad, and our objective is to reach 1 million customers after the Ski Olympics, with a big growth opportunity in Europe. Here are some other numbers. Probably the more relevant is that we will close this season with more than 20 million euros of transaction managed on our platform. So let's call it gross merchandise value for the ones that are expert in the travel sectors. And we have more than 500 partners selling services on our platform, being ski stations, ski rentals, ski schools, and different partners. As I said, our core is really technology, marketplace technology, that we apply both for Snowit, but also for the other brands that are part of the company. We are very strong in integrating booking systems and make a very easy booking process for the final users. Of course, ski sector was a perfect example because of the fragmentation in the market. That's why we started from there. But the same principle can be applied in different sports and different sectors, also outside sport travel. All these allow us to be ranked in the list of fastest growing company by Sole 24 Ore in Italy and the Financial Times in Europe for 3 years in a row. So we hope that the Winter Olympic Games will be an opportunity to keep growing and create new business. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. Someone has a question? Okay, I have a question for you. Yeah. So, which will be new implementation in the app for user?
Yeah, so we are, let's say that our product today are basically for 2 different users personas. So the first user persona are the ones that live close to the mountains and need an easy way to purchase ski tickets because they go to ski in the weekend, in a day. For example, people from Milan are our typical users because we are very close to the mountains. The second persona is the tourist, someone that comes from North Europe and needs to purchase a full holiday package on the Alps. At the moment, what we are trying to develop a product that are more focused on heavy skiers. So those that normally, purchase the seasonal pass, that today we cannot really intercept because our offer is probably not adapt for them. But we are working for a flexible product that can involve several destinations and several ski stations in a single seasonal pass in order to innovate also in the sector. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pasquale. Okay, now we will present the second startups of today, that is SeaWeGo. SeaWeGo deals with the logistics and transportation for all kind of goods. This topic is crucial for an event such as Cortina 2026 for all the equipment that need to be moved, but also is useful for single user or group that don't know how to transport, how to move the equipment from the city to the mountain. So I will leave the stage to Marcello Favalli, co-founder and CEO of SeaWeGo.
Switch on.
Ok, perfetto. Good morning to everybody. I'm Marcello Favalli, the CEO co-founder of SeaWeGo, Smart Eco Transport, and thank you for your invitation. Dear Milan, we have a problem. That's it. The spare space of any vehicles. But we can divide these problems in 2 kinds of targets. One business target and one consumer target. About the business target, we know that in Europe, 25% of transport vehicles travel empty. So this is a huge space, wasted space. And about the consumer problem, we know that in Europe we have 270 million of cars with only 1.3 people per car. But it's enough I ask you, when do you drive your car? How often is it full? Okay, great. But this means 70 billion worth of wasted fuel. But we have the solution. The solution is SeaWeGo, because with our app, we are able to connect people that want to send a package with people who want to deliver goods. If, only if, this is the turning point, they are already on the same route. So we turn spare vehicle space into a value. Just think about this. Airbnb, the world's largest landlord, does not even own a hotel. BlaBlaCar, the world's largest taxi driver, does not even own a car. So we aim to be the world's largest transporter and does not even own any single vehicle. That's why they called us the BlaBlaCar of goods, of packages. It always seems impossible until it's done, but it's done. Our TRL is 9, we are tech owner, we already have 2 pending patents, and our logo is registered. So you can download SeaWeGo right now for in Google Play, in the App Store, or you can even use it in the web app with your PC. So let's try to do this trip. Maybe we can be sender in this case. So of course we download SeaWeGo, we can register ourselves, and we just have to fill 4 fields: the pickup address, the delivery address, the data for the pickup, the data for the delivery. Just this. And SeaWeGo will find the best courier or driver for you. So you jump in a chat. In this chat, you can find any kind of agreement. When, where, how, why, how much. So when you decide, when you accept the cost for this delivery, you can pay with your Visa, MasterCard, etc., whatever. And we create 2 one-time password code. So 1 OTP for the pickup, 1 OTP for the delivery. And in this way, we can know the data, the hour, and the minute in which there was the pickup and the delivery. Then we have the button, where is my parcel? If I push this button, I can see in Google Maps where my driver, where my transporter is. And I can even zoom, and if he's drinking a coffee in a bar, I can see in which bar he's drinking that coffee. Of course, this is GDPR compliance. So, summarizing, in SeaWeGo, you can find the automatic match in real time. You can find a live chat for easy communication, a true geolocalization for shipment tracking, e-payment system for KYC1 and KYC2, double OTP, one-time password for accurate pickup and delivery, transporter, transparent feedback. So we are not only creating kind of BlaBlaCar for goods, but also kind of TripAdvisor for transporters. And at the end, automatic invoice for a maximum scalability. We have 3 kind of accounts. SeaWeGo Easy, it's me, it could be you, so everybody can download and use and enjoy SeaWeGo. SeaWeGo Company, because any kind of company need to send packages, and SeaWeGo Professional, only for transport companies, because they also can and actually have to optimize their spare space. How we do money? Very easy. Consumer and business, when they are senders, they pay a success fee. Professional drivers, just one time, they pay the annual subscription. Well, we can say we think people love SeaWeGo because we are really featured in media, and we also got a lot of awards and acceleration programs. But most important, last year, with less than 7,000 euro in marketing, we reached more than 4,000 downloads. So I'm waiting for your download. All this was made by 4 skilled, time-tested managers and 4 supporting professionals. But we also have advisors and investors, very important because they are in our industry and they founded transport companies. So last but not least, think about this. Every time you fill and sell the spare space of your vehicle, we will have less vehicles that travel empty, so we will have less kilometric of traffic, less tons of CO2, and even less road accidents. That's why CWGO is SDG compliance for the category 9, 11, 12, and 13. And that's why we love to say in CWGO, it's not enough to do a good job, but we have to do good with our job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcello. Any question?
Me. Here. Yeah. Marcello. Here
Yeah.
you have people from industrial world, people from the European Commission and regulatory worlds, and also people from research and university. What would you ask them?
Great audience.
You have venture capital, so you don't need money, but what you will ask them to
We
make your
always need
company...
money.
You always... to make your company really working. What you need in Europe? What you think it's the lack part of your system to be fully pushed to the success?
Yeah, we are now, thank you very much for the question, because this is our first and probably most important challenge. What we have to get now is a critical mass. If we have some thousands, hundred thousands of users that ask and offer transport deliveries, then we can have a good probability to match them, each other. And so we can create a peer-to-peer efficient system. So now our challenge, our goal is to spread, disseminate CWGO over all Europe, and in this way to optimize the spare space of any European vehicle. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Marcello. Okay, now the third startups that we will be featuring is focused on having the right technical clothing for competition such as Olympics. We're talking about H-Cube, which develop a fabric capable of performing predictive injury risk analysis with the health parameter tracking. Currently, the technology is not yet active in the mountain experience and sport, but they are working on it. I will leave the stage to Federico Izzo, CEO and co-founder of H-Cube.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Martina. Hello, everyone. Thank you for this introduction. And today I would like to start with a little bit of storytelling, just to understand which is the experience that is behind this project. So it was June 2011, when I was in the middle of swimming my records in the local swimming pool competition. When suddenly I felt a shoulder cramps. My breathing was out of control and I felt a terrible pain. Then the blackout. The coach took me out from the water and brought me to the first aid, where I remember the doctor, after visiting me, told me almost those words: "I can fix you this time, but your swimming career may be over." I was shocked about it, but it was only years later that I figured out I was not the only whom those type of injuries occurs. This is because what happened to me in a swimming pool is the same that also happened to hundreds of professional soccer players all around the world, because it has similar causes, as you can see. And this is the reason why me and my team start Unit Force to fight against this problem. By the way, I'm surrounded by experts in fashion industry, investors, and people with large experience in industrial field. And working together with biomedical engineer, smart cloth designer, and sports scientists, we create what we call the perfect kit for injury prevention. This to ensure that no more sportsmen must face my same experience. Our solution is based on a t-shirt that can be used to monitor the athlete or a simple user for a long time of period, so both during the training phase and in recovery phase. And evaluating the cardiac activity, the temperature, and the posture, we provide an amount of data that our AI platform can analyze and provide in real time an index about the injury exposition for the user. And all of this infrastructure is based on a solid patent which operates as the gear of the system. The hardware we create, it's a couple of fancy t-shirts of our design that can be worn by the user both during the training and in recovery phase. And they embedded a particular type of electrodes on the arms that allow them a really long term of usage. And related to the t-shirt, we developed also our Type H. That's what we call the flexible biometric data brain that can be attached and detached from a single cloth and extract all data wirelessly. From this hardware, we created two software infrastructure. The first is TireWear, that's our application that is able to recover, filter, and show to the user all data generated by our t-shirt. And second one is TiDash, that's our powerful AI-powered platform that is able to analyze in real-time data and give you access to 3 different layers of biometric data, including the risk of injuries that is updated in real time for the wearer. We are in a market that has more than 100 million amateur players and 50,000 of professional soccer players only in Europe. And the value of smart cloth for injury prevention has been evaluated more than 20 billion euros in 2022. We know that we are not alone on this market, but actually we are supported by strong differentiation element due to the unique position of electrodes on the arms that allow an extremely level of comfort for the user, the possibility of have long-term monitoring and zero intrusion for the user that use the technology, and a solid patent on which is based the technology and a high level of industrial compatibility. And all of this converges into a truly innovative stylish product that is able to be applied in different areas. We're starting to develop and customize this hardware for the sports, but more the years coming on, we receive different requests from different clients. And this is the reason why we open also some other business units. The idea was provide them the same hardware technology, but customize the software infrastructure. Let me give you some concrete example about that. We start our first collaboration with Kinetic Lab, that is a biomechanical laboratory, and that works with a player from Torino, from Jaguari Torino, that is an American football team, and with Olympic canoeist. And for them, we developed a particular type of platform that was able to generate in real-time report about the training activity of the user, and they use this particular type of report matching with particular type of instruments they already have in the laboratory. This allows to provide a complete feedback to the athlete during the training session. Then we start a particular type of collaboration also with Olympic Colegno, that is an amateur football club. And for they, we develop a t-shirt that can be worn also by the user that is under 18 years old and has the possibility to embed the GPS on board and has compatibility to be used during the match simulation. For them, we developed this particular type of product with the idea to extend this technology also to the E-Series football team all around Italy, since it's the first step for a long-term collaboration. And last but not least, we start recently the possibility to embed also our technology in Exoskin. That is a particular type of support generated by Comau for support the high-risk employees during the training activity. Those are the partnership that we already close with different companies that work in different fields. So the Biometric Kinetic Lab, sportswear brand, and we are still in evaluating phase with big corporate for let's start this project. Now, some of you may wonder why we are doing this. And as you know, a trauma like mine can stop your life or generating new purpose for your life. And here in HCube, we chose the second way. We want to inspire a healthier and safer world by providing access to the most recent technology in smart color fields for everyday life. So join our ecosystem and wear your health too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Federico. Any question? Okay, I have a question for you. So, do you mention sports? But I was wondering if you have any idea of future sport in which you will implement your technology.
Yeah, of course, like you can see, we start from the soccer because it was the more appealing in terms of sports, but actually we are also providing different tests on different sports. And one of them was also the skiing. So in the end of February, we test our t-shirt on Abetone, that is a skiing zone, and start to understand in which way our platform can identify the risk pattern also for the people that are making skiing. And on that range, we focus our attention on the posture elements because it's one of the elements that in this sport can generate a high risk of injuries. And this is the reason why we are in continuous developing phase to understand which are the best sports we can approach with our technology.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you.
Okay, the last startups we will present today has a new vision of a key element of skiing and mountain experience, the boots. So BTF Ski System has this innovative product that he will show you soon that bridges the gap between the ski boots and the après-ski boots. So I will leave the stage to Konrad Baumagner, the product manager of BTF.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to having me here today. So we are talking about skis, ski boots especially, and binding, combined system. May I have the switch so I can show you the presentation? Thank you very much. BTF ski system. So the market as it presents to you today for ski boots and ski bindings. I think many of you are skiers. So as you see, there is actually a shell, a hard shell made on plastic, on nylon, okay, together with the binding, one in front and one in the back of the feet. That's a technology talking about product life cycle, which is almost 50 years old. The ski boots you have today had been invented in the 60s. Before they were on leather, then they switched to nylon, okay? And since then it's exactly the same. So is there any disruptive technology available? We think yes, and we found this system which has already been approved, the BTF ski system technology. So you see it here on real, and I show you on the presentation. It's a new ski boot combined with a new type of binding. The boot is made actually as a normal winter boot, a warm winter boot, very comfortable materials, soft and warm, and could be also fashion oriented. It is guaranteed the impermeability, the transpiration, and the cold resistance as well, better than in any plastic hard shell boot. The binding instead is a mobile arm that rests on the upper cuff of the boot. You see it here with the boot already on the binding and without. The leverage has the function to substitute the hard part, the upper part of the ski boot. So this leverage transmits directly to the edge of the ski your movement. And that's how you actually ski. We always think a ski, what is a ski? Do we walking? No, it is a transportation aim. We have cars, we have motorcycle, we have bicycle, and we have ski. It's maybe the most simple aim, but it's an aim to drive. So we drive the ski, and we have to turn them right and left by going on the skids, like a snowboard, for instance. That's the function of the leverage. The fixation is on the back. That's the innovation. There is a sphere on the back, and here this lever, and it's closed very easily. On the backward there is a leverage that helps to fix it for the forward, and eventually ski and walk, it is movable. We are talking about prototypes. We are a startup. So you have a natural and steady posture, a smoother skiing possible, a safe skiing also. I remember if you go to an orthopedy, to a clinic, where they treat in the ski resorts the accidents and the injuries of the skiers, you will see that most of them are on the knees. Because actually, and that's the funny thing, human beings, we have 3 hubs, okay? One hub here, one hub is the knee, and the other hub is on the feet, okay? There are so many sports. Think about football, motorcycling, motocross, everything. And all of them, ice hockey, all of them have special boots, special sports boots. All of them are movable, okay? The feet is movable. The only sport that invented a boot which is rigid on the feet is the ski. And that's why all the forces, you lose one hub, so all the forces go directly to the knees. That's why you have so many knee injuries by skiing accidents. You don't feel pressure on the feet, obviously, because it's not rigid. It's just partly rigid, just a part of the sole, this part, and this part here. All the rest is warm and comfortable and flexible. So, comfort, suitability, comfort, suitable for walking, easy to put on, and no stress. That's our promise. Especially also for the so-called après-ski activities. I would mention at this point how are really what's the expectation of a skier? Of course, there are many professional skiers, competition skiers, they just go down the slope, they want to be the fastest as possible, okay? But the most of us are families, young, older, they want to enjoy. It's a whole day skiing experience, what we are searching for. We want to enjoy the mountains, we want to enjoy to stop at a restaurant, to have a lunch. We maybe also do an après-ski afterwards, okay, on the mountain resorts. Somebody goes also to do some shopping in a sport boutique. And all that you can do with this kind of shoe. So you just put your shoes off and you can walk around. You can even drive your car back home when you're finished. The patent is pending since 21. We have Italian patent recognized as well as international. And we have also some supporters and advisors. That's our patent, registered. And these are the supporters, the autonomous region of South Tyrol, which contributed with a funding of almost 273,000 euros up to date. Then we have made a business plan and a financial plan with PricewaterhouseCoopers, market research as well. And last but not least, IDM, Inventors, Developers, Marketers, which is a half private, half public agency, always in Bolzano, which helps startups to grow. So what are development stages? The years 21 to 24, it was also a little bit amid the COVID epidemic. We started with the first prototypes. You can see some of them here. We have already developed 9 boots and 5 different bindings in order to find out the best combination of it. 24, 25, a pilot series will be launched. Therefore, we have a panel. We have a panel composed by approximately 30 persons, which goes from the professional skier, from a competition, world champion, to families, women, men, and youngsters as well. So, in this pilot series with the test panel will help us to find out exactly what the strength of the product is and where eventually we can improve. In 25 then, so winter 25 to 26 will be the first pre-series launched. The economic data. So the BTF ski system is positioned in the mid to high range market. The price will be approximately 900 euros for the combination. This is equivalent to purchase a pair of traditional boots and bindings in the mid to high range. The product launching forecast overall investment of 2 million euros, 3.2 million euro turnover at the second launching seasons. Break-even point should be reached in 27. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any question, you're welcome.
As far as I remember from your speech, the idea is that you can book your mountain ski with this guy, he will deliver the equipment, and you will ski with that kind of suit, and if you get injured, he will repair, will fix it. That's a supply chain. But anyway, the idea is that a new task for clusters may be to rise challenges, because these guys work on challenges. Challenges rise questions, and questions rise innovation. That's why you have a flavor with startups today. Thank you very much, Ivan, Martina, of course, and all of you. Thank you very much. And I give the stage, or you have any other question? It's okay. So thank you very much. I give the stage back to Teodora for the next panel. And thank you very much.
Please, one round of big applauses for those that have presented and the facilitators of this panel. Thank you. Tomorrow, there will be another pitching session. This time we will hear from the clusters. I will be the moderator, and the clusters will have only 3.5 minutes. So please prepare for tomorrow, because the startups had a better opportunity for 8 minutes. But now, without further delay, I would like to welcome on the floor Antonio Novo, the president of the European Clusters Alliance, to moderate and facilitate the next panel discussion and present the participants. Antonio, the floor is yours. A big pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Grazie mille to all of you. Okay, I'm very glad to be here with you moderating this panel on interregional collaboration. And so I will invite to join me the speakers. And the first one will be Marta Molinero. Where is Marta? Here, okay. She is the Regional Innovation Scheme Collaboration Manager at the EAT Manufacturing. Thank you, Marta. And now I will invite Bianca Maria Colosimo, member of the Board of Directors in MAID, the Competence Center on Industrial 4.0. Thank you. And now I will invite Mauro Castello, President of the Fondazione Cluster Marché. Thank you, Mauro. And now Ivan Boeso, Director of European Policies Department in the Veneto region. Thank you, Ivan, for joining us. So this is about interregional collaboration and the realities of them. Please, I will ask all of us to go to the realities and not so much about theories. We are people that is working on that, okay? You know, I am a member of the S3 expert group on the European Commission, the expert group on smart specialization strategies. And I think that one of the big discussions now is about what kind of collaboration between inside the regions, but also between regions, is able to help us, the European Union, to face the challenges that we are finding in front of us, okay? And we know that for many years the approach has been sectoral, but now we are thinking that perhaps mission-oriented approaches could make more sense and could be more flexible. You know, we had a very good examples this morning between the speakers that were speaking about the interest of enabling cross-sectoral, transversal solutions, ecosystems that could really engage different actors, all those that will make sense to engage to face those missions, you know. So I would really love if we could make this time inspirational and think about the future, not only what has been done up to now. But it's enough from my side as introduction, and I will now address Marta Molinero, okay, with my first question. Could you share how EAT manufacturing facilitates a stronger collaboration between different European regions to boost innovation in the manufacturing sector?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Antonio, and thank you very much to AFIL and the Lombardy region to inviting EAT manufacturing to this panel. Actually, EIT Manufacturing is one of the 9 knowledge and innovation communities supported by EIT, the European Institute of Innovation Technology. And the purpose of our organization in general is to improve people's lives through sustainable manufacturing. So basically, our mission is to connect manufacturing players across European region in order to promote talent and entrepreneurship and to accelerate sustainable manufacturing and the twin transition that was mentioned many times during today's discussions. So in order to do so, we really try to bring together a big network, a community of industrial partners, academics, research institutions from across different regions, and also to support scale-up, startup, SMEs, companies, with a view of overcoming the fragmenting nature that sometimes innovation ecosystem could have. So basically, we try to do so by integrating 3 main areas through our activities, namely innovation, education, and business creation, so support startups. So how we try to facilitate the collaboration between different European regions? First of all, through our setting, through our organization. Our HQ is based in Paris, but we have 6 co-location centers, which take care of all of them of different European countries. And I'm today representing EIT Manufacturing South, that is our co-location center which is based in Milan. and we also have a local office in Bari. So we really try to connect stakeholders and companies through Europe with our physical presence and working remotely, of course, with different stakeholders. But apart from our structure and organization and big network, we also have different tools. Mainly, I can say that our main initiative, the call for proposal, through which we try to support innovative projects and educational projects through Europe, really try to put together stakeholders, companies, LTOs, universities from different regions, and to make them work with a pan-European approach. So with our call, we try to support innovative projects to bring innovation to the market, putting together stakeholders from different regions working together. With this view, we also try to organize events, such as matchmaking events. The next one will be at the end of April. It will be online, in order to facilitate a connection between stakeholders of the manufacturing industry. And finally, I would say that we really also try to foster collaboration with partners in the local and regional ecosystem. We have here also MADE. It's one of our partners in the Lombardy region, but we have a very good representation of industrial partners in Italy and in the Lombardy region. And we also try to foster collaboration with stakeholders, agency, administration, through our network partnership agreement. So we really try to be part of the local ecosystem, also to build together tailor-made projects. Thank you.
You are very welcome. Bianca, you work with the Manufacturing Innovation Agency, no? Lombardia. And so, would you share with us how MADE's leadership on this Manufacturing Innovation Alliance is driving digital innovation across the manufacturing sector here?
Yes, I'm very pleased to present one, I think, successful example on how MADE, which is a competence center on Industry 4.0 that is trying to bring attention on private and public on what are the new challenges coming out from the sustainable and digital challenge that we are going to face. As I was saying, MADE has been leading a consortium, a partnership of 12 partners, creating this European digital innovation hub, which is called Manufacturing Innovation Alliance, with the idea of creating an ecosystem that is going to bring all the people and industries and companies that are willing to make a step forward in digital and innovation in Lombardy, in an idea also bringing them to the opportunities coming out from the Next Generation EU funding, so also bringing them to opportunities coming from funding at national level on what is called the National Plan of Resilience and Recovery. So the partners are 12, are coming from 4 different clusters: manufacturing, aerospace, life sciences, energy, so spanning all different sectors. There are EIT manufacturing, but also EIT digital, so it means bringing together the manufacturing needs together with the digital needs. Trade associations that are bringing all the small, medium enterprises to this type of challenge and to kind of bringing them in the challenge and also opportunities coming out from the digital and the sustainability change. And what is the main willingness is to create some sort of connection at different cross-sectoral, but also with different partners, just to take advantage of all the opportunities that are following a strategy and the path. So we can ask companies, first of all, to add some increase their awareness of the opportunities coming out from the digital tools that we can take advantage of in manufacturing. On the other side, they can even put their hands on. So there are a lot of projects that are successfully applied to what is called test before invest. So it means that you can come to MADE, where you can see a digital plant, so that you can really see what means digital design, manufacturing, collaborative robotics, 3D printing, big data mining, cybersecurity, putting your hands on and testing if one of these solutions and one of these technology can bring your company new, let's say, markets, or even in bringing your, let's say, existing market to a different level. And together with all these partners, you can have some consultancy and also some help to have additional funding, thanks and enjoying the PNRR opportunities at this point in time. So it's really a way for bringing all the small, medium enterprises to this new competitive level, thanks to this consortium of partners.
Grazie mille, Bianca, for the exposition, but we need to speak about interregional collaboration. So that's a wonderful description of what you do, but how can we collaborate? That will be the question, you know?
It can just be, let's say, we are just a first hub for, let's say, starting, but our product are at the national level. So we are just trying to take advantage of the ecosystem existing, but the opportunities are really at the national level or also European level. So it's really a way of staying connected and bring all the Lombardy system to Europe.
Wonderful, thank you. And now, Mauro, so considering your recent activities, particularly in preparation for the events like the Salon di Mobile, how does Fondazione Cluster Marché leverage interregional partnerships to enhance innovation and competitiveness?
Yeah, now it works. Yes, so the Fondazione is, let's say, it's an association of cluster. So basically, we have inside all the, as shareholders, all the 4 clusters of market region. That goes from agri-food to manufacturing to domotics and to what we call made in market, that is basically the regional correspondent of Made in Italy cluster. So dedicated most to fashion and to furniture. So we have all the cluster inside, and what we try to do is to be the only interface between clusters, regional clusters, and the outside world. So the governance, so market region from one side, the national cluster on other side, and also international association on other side again. And our idea is that having all the cluster inside, we can allow, let's say, a sort of contamination between our partners and maybe find new opportunities, since when we we present to some specific interregional body some project, we have in mind that we have a complete set of companies and universities dealing with lots of different topics. So that was the original idea. Consider that we started our activities in 5 years ago, and these 5 years of activities we spent almost 2 years with COVID, so we couldn't do so much activities in terms of course of interaction and connection and so on. But the main way in which we act is through the contamination. So having very different companies with different business inside, we can, let's say, contaminate one to the other and try to speed up innovation in this way.
I like the expression. Some people say it's cross-fertilization, but this contamination is more provocative. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. And now we welcome Ivan Boeso, who is Director of European Policies Department in the Veneto region. So, Ivan, could you share how the Veneto region approaches interregional collaboration?
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am here representing the Veneto region. Actually, I work for Veneto Innovazione, which is the innovation agency of the region. And I will give you some hints about from the perspective of the Veneto region, actually. I'll try to tell you a story of the last 15 years. I'm representing the Directorate for Research, Innovation and Energy Competitiveness, so also the perspective is a bit focused on the topics that this directorate is focused on. About 15 years ago, we started our experience in interregional collaboration with the ERANET tool supported by the European Commission, and we had several experience in different sectors. I remember the Lead Market Initiative, so to say biotechnology, energy, environment, health, but also other sectors that are more linked to the main aspects of the economic development of our region, such as textile, tourism, and things like that, topics like that, but always those experiences were shaped around the presence of clusters in our region. This because the same directorate is also responsible of the cluster policy. So we tried to put together the different perspectives and to work at European level, connecting regions, but also bringing on the table the representative of the clusters that are active in the territory. A second phase came by 2014 when the region developed a new policy approach to clusters and networks. Yes, we call our interpretation, let's say, of clusters, we call it regional innovation networks. And in this second phase, we try to use another tool created by the European Commission, which is the Interreg program, that allow us to cooperate with other regions in different topics, but also trying to connect the two aspects. For instance, we have been involved in a project called Co-Create, where we try to put together a new topic at the time of creative industries, connecting with the traditional cluster that were still the most important producer of economic wealth in our region. Another aspect was also to try to use the interregional cooperation, so to cooperate with other regions to enhance our policies, so to confront our approach with other approaches and to see what we can learn from each other and what we can also share of our experience with other regions. For instance, we participate in an initiative on the Alpine Space program called S3 for Alp Cluster, where we try to connect also the S3 approach to the policy approach, because we believe that really connecting clusters also at the transnational level could improve our possibility to enhance innovation in our territory. The last news, the last 2 years, we had the opportunity to participate to the Partnership for Regional Innovation, again an initiative created by the European Commission, the Committee of the Region and the JRC. And again, we had the opportunity to share our experience and to learn from other experience how to better implement our approaches. But still connecting the two worlds, the world of the innovation, let's say, and policy development, and the aspect more related to clusters. Finally, we have also applied for the expression of interest for a regional innovation valley, and we think in the morning there was a presentation that showed us from the Commission, I think, the different aspects, the different tools that are today available. And I remember, for instance, the I3 initiative. The I3 is another aspect that we are looking at in order to engage our stakeholders and to promote their participation. This is more or less the way we tried to use interregional cooperation to grow also in our approach to the development of policies.
Thank you very much, Ivan. So, I think that we have the perfect panel with me today, you know, because we have the EIT, we have the EDH, you know, the meta cluster and the policy side. 90% of those areas is looking at the mobile phone. So we have lost totally their interest. And we need to change that, you know. So now the invitation is for you to provoke, to say, what do we need to change? Okay? And say something that really get their interest, because if not, we are losing the time. Contribute with value, please. Now, Marta Molinero, what we need to change in interregional collaboration?
Yeah, of course. This is not an easy question, but let's say that EIT manufacturing, we really would like to play a role in supporting innovation ecosystem across regions. And of course, we try to do so by supporting innovation projects, education projects, as I was mentioning before, focusing on twin transition, human-centric manufacturing, and also we hope that this project will also boost the competitiveness of the regions in Europe. But on the other hand, we really would like to integrate our activity with the local ecosystem, collaborating more with clusters, but also authorities, in order to build some tailor-made and to better answer to the needs of companies and stakeholders in the local ecosystem. So maybe something that we could improve is a better integration between all the initiatives and ecosystem that are present in Europe in order to have a greater impact overall in the local ecosystem and to work together.
And we are starting just with this panel, integrating our ideas. So thank you very much. Bianca.
We need to change speed. We are slow. I mean, what is happening just by observing what is happening in other countries, not in Europe, the key words are always the same. Digital for sustainability. I shouldn't say digital and, I'm saying digital at the service of sustainability. Digital for resilience, because all the, let's say, way in which we need to define the supply chain is changing. The key issue is that China is doing the same job, US is doing the same job, Europe is doing the same type of challenge, but we are slow. And being able to speed up means at the same time, which is some sort of, let's say, contradiction, having mass for doing the job. So being able to be fast, but also with a huge mass means really defining a new way of putting mass only where it is needed, like some sort of lightweight way of solving challenges, existing challenges. But I think we are losing time and we are losing competitiveness. So all the way in which we can be connected, but also fast in reaction, and also, let's say, combining different TRL in a very, very speed way. So what is going to happen in the labs should become a product and a new market quite soon. It shouldn't remain in the labs. So I'm coming from a university because I'm a professor at the Polimi and Politecnico Milano. There's a lot of amazing ideas in our labs, and sometimes they remain there. And we have no time for this. It's impossible with respect to the competitiveness we are facing at a world level, let's say. So I think that these are my main comments.
I fully agree. Connectivity and speed, that is about clusters, or not? Yeah. Please activate your...
Sorry. To add another adjective, speed, but we also must be light. We have to travel speed, we must have a very light luggage, because perhaps we have to change the direction in maybe more faster than we think, because the world around us changes with a very, very high speed. So maybe, yes, we have to be fast, but we have to have clear in mind where we are going. Otherwise, if we go too fast without knowing where we are going, we'll never reach our goal, perhaps. But we also have to be light in order to change our mind, to change our activities, to change our goal whenever it is necessary. Because the world around us changes with a very, very fast speed. That's perhaps what we have really to change.
Thank you.
So I have very light structures.
Oh yeah, you are fully right, I think. So,
Yes, obviously I agree with what was said before. And I agree especially on this topic of not to be, okay, there's a dichotomy from the mass and but it's okay. I mean, the world is changing very rapidly, so we have to combine somehow the two aspects. If I can add something, what I miss is the willingness of people. People is very much the trigger in every kind of interregional cooperation. So we must work also on that. I think that this is what I feel we have to work, still we have to work on.
yeah, connecting people.
Yep.
So it's,
Yes, so yes, what I could bring here as an example is the EIT Regional Innovation Scheme. For example, this was launched some years ago from EIT in order to overcome discrepancy between a region with a moderate to modest innovation level according to the European Innovation Index. So the program is running now for since many years, and we have some good success stories. I work in the RIS department in EIT manufacturing, and within our KIC we have developed several programs that aim at supporting companies, SMEs, but also individuals, innovators, startups coming from EIT RIS country with tailor-made programs in order also to facilitate the access of these actors to the KIC activities. So we know that maybe sometimes European program could be challenging from, at least for the first-time comers. And so through the EIT RIS scheme, we try to make their access to our activities a bit easier. And so I think we could mention this program from EIT as a success stories, as a first example. Italy actually is also a country that is eligible for this type of initiative in the framework of the Regional Innovation Scheme. And secondly, I would also mention the involvement of our local hubs in regional initiative, but also at the European level. As I mentioned before, we are partner, for example, of some European Digital Innovation Hub in Italy, but also in other European countries through our other co-location center. And with this initiative, we really try to be present and bring our European perspective in the regional, regional level, and to boost the capacity of the stakeholders.
thank you. Thank you very much, Marta. So, are you hearing? Who here has been in some way connected with the EIT? Raise your hand. So, lot of room for improvement here. You know her now. Don't hesitate to contact her later, okay? Now, Bianca, it's your turn.
Yeah, I think we need to redesign the architecture in which we are connected. I can just make an example in my lab. I used to have now, let's say, a lab with a lot of students and a lot of PhD students, so a team. I used to take something like 1 year to better understand and focus. I'm going back to the idea of talent development and talent, let's say, emphasizing, let's say, the talent of each of resources. Usually I spend long time trying to figure out what is the best for each of my students, and I used to start asking them to do the same. While now I have just decided to have something like 1 month for deciding who is really good in doing vertical stuff and who is really good in creating bridge, which are quite different competencies. So what I think it's, again, for increasing our speed is defining a way of staying connected with some sort of lightweight architecture in which no all are doing only bridge, let's say, because there's someone that needs to create core competencies and going vertical, but being able also to have very, very fast bridge connecting. So really defining a team working where each of us, let's say, find their own rule. And I think this is a matter of designing the architecture. It's not just can be created by chaotic, let's say, pattern. It means a new way of staying together.
I love that approach, you know. Yeah, and I am also part of the consortia that is managing the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. This is a network that is very strongly related also to the ETH network, and we have been speaking a lot of what can we do to connect, to bridge those two networks. So still something to be discussed and work it on. Okay, Mauro, what do you think? What do you propose as a reference on how to work on interregional collaboration? Please remember.
Yes, of course. Okay, basically, as a foundation, as a fondazione, we are more involved in regional projects. But what I can say is that in the last years, we have been involved in several regional projects that at the end of the project produce 4 different laboratories that are not public but owned by the partners of the projects, so our private structure. And now this private structure are going into European funding, so are approaching different regions, different international labs, and interacts with other laboratory at the European level. And this is just to emphasize that, to be the president of the foundation is just my hobby. I'm an industry manager for a large company. So I have clear in my mind that we have to, not to make a research, we have to produce innovation. To produce innovation inside projects, inside labs, inside the foundation means that at the end of the day we have to produce value, because the partner of the cluster are basically for our industries that need at the end of the day to produce value, because they have to grow and to make money, because they are not, they are companies that have to pay salaries to produce richness. So we have to keep very clear in mind that innovation at the end means to produce value for someone.
I could not agree more.
No?
You know? Yeah, I fully agree. And it is true that, that this is one of the big challenges, no, in regional strategies. You know, it's one of the big difficulties has been on when analyzing the smart specialization strategy, how those strategies are really impacting the economy. That's the big challenge. And so that's perfect introduction for Ivan.
Yes, because I really love the intervention of Bianca, but because she put the focal point. I think that this is really important we have to think of how to redesign this kind of aspect, because it was not easy for us as a Veneto region and as Veneto Innovazione to fulfill all the steps in order to prepare our S3. And this is something that needs a redesign, as you said. And also this could help us in redesign the collaboration with other regions. We noticed that in that process, we in the end try to look at what they are doing in the province of Bolzano, or in Lombardy, or in Austria, or in Slovenia, but still we don't have the tools to really grasp something and create an added value for our S3 in this process. So I think that the topic of redesigning the way in which we collaborate is really something that we have to keep in mind.
And we are working on it, you know. That's why the Commission launched the Euro clusters, and that's why Marek was proposing this morning to facilitate the creation of a national network of clusters here in Europe, and we are collaborating on the European Cluster Alliance. So we have 4 minutes, okay? One for every one of you, but please, we need to get their attention, you know, that they are still... Yeah, of course. Okay. Marek. Take this.
I mean, all of you raised many interesting things. For example, the lab, and we are producing on the shelf. It's not used. This is what we realized, and this is another story. But I wanted to use this last word from you. We are, you know, new program is coming in 3 years, but we and the Commission already starting to think. It takes time to design. We are already starting to thinking about designing how to use clusters for building and reshaping value chains in the EU, using the single market potential. Very ad hoc. What kind of piece of advice would you give me while preparing this kind of instrument? What kind of characteristics should this instrument have? And actually, what would you advise me while preparing and drafting the features of this new instrument for interregional collaboration, using clusters for value chain creation and reshaping? Very ad hoc.
Easy question. You are recorded.
We don't have 4 minutes, right? we don't have 4 minutes on each other. I don't know, actually, it's not that easy, but it's... Yeah.
We started with delay, so you have 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Great, thank you. I think that you can build on the experience that you have, because this initiative, and I'm not talking as Veneto Innovazione or Veneto Region, now I'm talking knowing the clusters and the regional innovation networks that we have on our territory. And they are very pleased, they have been very pleased, and they have not so much participation like in Lombardy, but the ones that had the opportunity to use these tools, the ESCP 1 and 2 and the Eurocluster, they like very much the opportunity that they gave them to raise their perspective, to raise the vision on the future. So I think that the first thing is to build on what you have already developed. Another point is to try maybe to involve also them in this process of designing the tools, because yes, we have 2,000, I don't know how many clusters in Europe, but we have the association. We are trying to build an association at a national level. So, I mean, the representative of this cluster could be useful in giving you this kind of support. because I think that in the end, as Mauro was saying about his company, also in the case of cluster, we have to do something that is useful for the cluster, and at the end, it's for the benefit of the SMEs that are part of the cluster. So I think that first of all, build on what you have done because it's good. And then try to involve more the representation of the cluster because they can give you really what they need, what are their needs.
That's it. Mauro, let's go this way.
I don't think I have so much to add. Whatever you're going to write, keep it light, keep it simple, because we must be fast. So we don't we don't have to expect so much time and to have new instruments and think what were the users of these instruments. So try to keep it as simple as possible. We don't need any bureaucracy. We just need it to be light and fast.
We need more resources. Please put more money in clusters. It's very important, you know.
It's a matter of how we spend. It's not a matter of having money.
Thank you. Bianca.
Yes, speed up means no bureaucracy at all. So focusing on value rather than on the journey, let's say. And I know that this can be a little bit provocative, but also acting top-down instead of just bottom-up. So decide who is good and doing what, and decide to pursue. So create this lightweight architecture, somehow mastering the architecture.
Thank you, Bianca. Marta.
Yes, thank you. I don't really have much to add, as a lot have been said, but based on my experience also before joining IT manufacturing, and I've been working with cluster for some years before, I always appreciate the important role of the cluster plays in working with SMEs and to be a contact point for companies and to aggregate them. So maybe keep building on it. And to create a community and to disseminate opportunity to the local stakeholders. Thank you.
Grazie mille. I will share with you an analogy that one member of our cluster shared with us some weeks ago, speaking about the run for generative AI. But it's the same, okay? It's like we know that we are losing the train. We are at home. How are we going to the train station? By bus? Walking? By taxi? So we need to choose how to go. And I think that clusters are one of the lightest, most simple structure that we have at the European level, and so that will be one of the answers. Thank you very much to all the panelists.
You had a perspective from the Interregional Europe cluster organization, but a cluster can work also on big networks, international networks, and so we are going to give you a flavor from international perspective. Today with Felice Lopane, where he's my moderator. My moderator is here. Please, Felice, come to the stage and call your relators. Thank you very much, please. General Manager from the Lombardy Life Science Cluster. Podio, sì. And it's the last panel, but not least, of course.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Paolo, for hosting us. So this is pretty much one of the last sessions, let's say, after the roll-up one. I'm really pleased to be here and presenting the International Networks and Programs session. I think it's really important in this context to bring different perspectives from organization working on a more international to a more local but international again, with an international perspective on the main topic of this day, which is the twin transition. As you know, it's impacting a lot, everyone, every industry at every level, and even public organizations. So I'm going to introduce the speakers of this session in an alphabetical order, they say. So it's with us Mr. Sergio Cavalieri, Rector of University of Bergamo. Thank you very much, Professor.
What do you want to say?
The second speaker is Wim de Kinderen, Chair of the task group Vanguard Pilot Monitoring. Thank you for being here from the Vanguard Initiative. The third speaker is Mr. Alberto La Lumia, member of the Board of Directors and Chairman of the Industrial Committee of Thai Italian Chamber of Commerce. So another international organization, of course. The fourth speaker is Ms. Elisabetta Maini, head of the Unit for Research, Technology Transfer, and Innovation Promotion from one of the best regions of Italy, which is Emilia-Romagna region. And last but not least, and actually will be the first speaker of this session, is Kyle Winters, a Community and Initiative Specialist from the World Economic Forum, directly from New York. Thank you very much for being here. So, please. Okay, everyone a seat. Thank you very much. So just a few words about who we are and who I represent here. I'm the manager of the Life Sciences Cluster, which is an organization like many others that have spoken today and presented themselves. The Life Sciences Cluster, it's the one actually working with the pharma, healthcare, medical device, research organization, both from public and private sectors, and in this territory, so in Lombardy region, which, and our aim is to enhance connections between these stakeholders and try to perceive a common view and strategy on research, innovation, and development. Why it's important for us this, I mean, the Lombardy Life Sciences Cluster has a beautiful chance to work with a most, let's say, important in terms of organization that belong to this territory, the most important cluster actually of life sciences organization. Together here we represent 13% of the regional GDP, so it's more than 100 billion euro generated by the value chain here in Lombardy. And if we compare the value chain of Lombardy to the national one, we are talking about 1/3 of the national life sciences cluster. So Lombardy is a very intense and historical tradition in production, manufacturing, also applied to life sciences. We produce a lot of healthcare actually, but we produce also a lot of pharmaceuticals. So this region is one of the most, let's say, productive in the pharma, leading the whole Italian territory and country to be the first pharmaceutical producers of Italy. So this is why for us it's really important to be here today. So we are actually working a lot on twin transition, so both sustainability and digitalization. We launched two projects with many organizations from both public and private sector, pharma, healthcare, concern this kind of transition, so focused on continuum of care and digitalized trials. So we really know that these will be the topics for the future and for sure for the sustainability of healthcare systems. So this is just to introduce a little bit the cluster, but I will directly go to my panelists, my speakers, and I will ask them to just briefly introduce themselves and their organization. I will start with Mr. Kyle Winters, asking you, Kyle, why, I mean, you work on this kind of topics, how and what kind of also scenarios you see right now at the international level.
Yeah, perfect. Hi, everyone. Kyle Winters from the World Economic Forum here. I'd like to especially thank Paulo, Alessandro, Christian from AFIL, who I work very closely with through our global network of advanced manufacturing hubs. So a special thank you to them for organizing this event, taking the lead and extending an invitation. So coming from the World Economic Forum, we're split into what we call 10 different centers thematically, looking at topics ranging from financial monetary systems, urban transformation, and what my team kind of has a niche specialty in, which is advanced manufacturing and supply chains. We kind of broach the topic of what we call AMSC for short, through 4 different pillars of technology adoption and diffusion, human-centric workforce, right, getting reskilling and upskilling for the talent of tomorrow, sustainability through mainly our net zero accelerator, and then our last pillar on resilience in kind of global supply chains. I want to kind of bring it back to what we first heard from our opening moderator this morning along the kind of 3 dimensions of the twin transition, that being sustainability, social, and economic, and really mirroring the fact that all the initiatives and communities of practice that we drive at the forum try to bridge that through a lens of environmental impact, inclusivity, and innovation. I'm happy to talk more at length about the initiatives that the team runs kind of afterwards during our Aperol, but what I really want to share with you today are some of the latest findings that we're seeing globally in terms of kind of that value chain reconfiguration. So we're launching a report in about a month from now that's actually looking at the kind of 5 dimensions of value chain, or 5 trends that are driving value chain reconfiguration, and specific actions that senior leaders in the supply chain are taking to kind of bolster out that reconfiguration. So really what we're seeing and where this stem from is we're having conversations that in the kind of twin transition, but also more broadly, the biggest need that we're seeing at the moment is stemming from having proper infrastructure. This kind of came about 2 years ago at the annual meeting in Davos, where we heard a need for not just having hard infrastructure like roads, ports, and bridges, but being able to have that digital connectivity between states, between companies that really propels kind of our sharing of knowledge and enablement of reaching sustainability metrics. We just wrapped up this survey that I was mentioning, and in that survey, country infrastructure, data security, IP protection, and regulatory stability were listed amongst all respondents in the top 10 needs of kind of characteristics that are desirable when looking at a country or a region for reconfiguration purposes. When you kind of take that a step further, what we're seeing is 50% of these respondents are looking to have a majority of direct spend qualified from a second source in a second region by 2030. So what we're seeing here is kind of this from global to multi-global value chain configuration, creating a lot of opportunity for suppliers, not just at that tier 1 level, but all the way down to tier 5. And a lot of that is going to be bolstered out by the digital capabilities at both the governance level, but also at the company level, right? We're seeing that over half of these respondents are planning to kind of integrate in AI and other advanced tech into advanced planning solutions by the year 2030, moving away from basic ABS and Excel systems, as well as the fact that suppliers are now being graded on sustainability metrics rather than just pure cost, right? We're moving away from that binary association of sustainability and profit. At a public sector level, what we found to be very interesting are just a few basic priorities that are enabling this kind of technology transition. And that's this idea of creating more consultative bodies, having initiatives around data sharing and benchmarking, and creating sandboxes in which we can test at an international level kind of these new technologies that are coming to place. And I think that some of these are already in play in the EU, like the Euro Horizon program, as well as Eureka. And then from the forum side, we've had the Smart Industry Readiness Index, which has gone on to have a co-series follow-along to measure sustainability as it pertains to organizations' kind of digital metrics. The next priority really from the public sector that we're seeing here is being a part of mission setting. It might sound simple, but government really wants to have a voice with their private sector counterparts on asking those questions of what to tackle and how. And an important aspect in this is kind of the funding of risk, which is one of the main reasons driving this mission setting, right? It's not just getting out of pilot purgatory, but it's getting through that valley of death that we were talking about earlier, on having a kind of a funding extension from government to smaller businesses to mitigate that inherently risky kind of startup mentality. On the private sector side, what we're seeing is something very similar. And that's starting with building integrated approaches to skills and tech achievement and development. And part of that is defining priorities in a multi-stakeholder way, similar to what we're doing in this room today, similar to Paolo, Alessandro, Christian, what we do through the global network of advanced manufacturing hubs. It's being able to sit down with your multinationals, your SMEs, your academics, and your government counterparts to set what are the priorities in terms of skilling and technology that goes into said skilling. And last but not least, it's really that creating of development learning networks that help to facilitate best-in-class examples and kind of shift the norms within industry of sharing resources and demystifying a little bit that learning journey that goes into that digital and sustainability journey that we're seeing across multinationals and SMEs.
Thank you very much. Really, I mean, you pretty much highlighted also a little bit of the topics that we will then discuss later. So what's the priorities for the whole value chains and internationally. Well, we'll be back there in a few minutes. So I will then leave the floor to Mr. Alberto Lalumia, that I didn't mention before, but also represents an Italian company working abroad in the ASEAN area. So I would be really glad for you to share with the audience what's ASEAN and what kind of, contest is it for Italian companies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Felice. So good afternoon, everyone. I think you're all exhausted by the day. Try to bring you in an exotic place. So we go to ASEAN. As he said, I am director of the Thai Italian Chamber of Commerce and also work for an Italian company based nearby, director in Bergamo area, Vittoria Bicycle Tires. And yes, we are present in ASEAN already since the 70s. So what is ASEAN? The area is Southeast Asia and I noticed many similarities with the EU. First, but it's more a coincidence, the area is more or less the same. And it was created only few countries, actually 5 countries. It was Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and then later Indonesia and Singapore, and was to contain the spread of communism in that area. But then after the Cold War was over, it became purely economical. And then it welcomed also other members, Brunei, and of course, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. Became in 10 countries. Again, the size is more or less same as Europe, and they are very much committed to develop the economy. They are already achieved some very good results. They have free flow of people in the sense that you can pass from one country to the other without visa. They have also free flow of goods because there are no duties between those countries, and also they facilitate bank transactions. Now, what is important is that is an area that is one of the fastest growing in the world. Between 22 and 28, the growth of the 10 combined countries will be the same as GDP of Italy. So it's really becoming a superpower. Even today, the GDP of the 10 combined nations will be the 5th in the world, after China, US, Germany, and Japan. So it's for sure nice beaches, nice food, nice holiday, but, and it, in my opinion, being there for many years, is still undeveloped in terms of relationship with the EU. I make an example. Now they are an organization which is recognized even by UN. They have a seat in UN as observer, And they start to have free trade agreement with some entities like, for example, New Zealand or Australia, but not with the EU. EU is just doing country by country for different reasons. So there is a lot to do. Not many European companies, or I can say Italian company, as many as they should be there. And Bianca Maria before was talking about speed. Yeah, here we walk and then they run. Just to make you an example, probably all of you know Rinascente. Rinascente is the jewel of Milan. Well, it's owned by Thai company. And since then, they are already opening different mall in Italy. So it's interesting partner. I think we should be looking at that area with attention because we can get a lot of benefits on both sides. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Albert again. And then I will ask you more also to share your experience also in terms of manufacturing and transition applied to your company, because I think it's interesting to know what's going on over there compared to Europe and other contexts. But then I will, before, ask to the third panelist, I'm calling to give us his perspective, which is Wim de Kinderen. Thank you very much. And I mean, you represent a very interesting international program, which also leads to networks at the European level. So I guess not everyone is really familiar with Vanguard. So I think it would be really interesting today to share who you are. I mean, what's the decade of Vanguard? Because I think it's already a project, a platform going on since many years and generating a lot of value also for our companies. We recently also as a cluster joined. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and thanks a lot for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here because exactly in this building, actually 10 years ago, we signed the so-called Milan Declaration, which was the very start of the Vanguard initiative. So it's a proof again of how committed Lombardy is in networks like these, because the question is actually why were these regions here, apart from the hospitality of the region and the nice food that we had during lunch, and which is not the only thing you want to be recognized for, I know. I think Lombardy, together with my own region, which is the Brainport-Eindhoven region, also manufacturing region, part of the province of Brabant, is one of those regions who acknowledges that you're very good. We heard you mentioning very nice figures on life sciences this morning in the introduction about manufacturing, how much of GDP you are responsible for, how much of export from Italy is coming from the region. But still, you know very much and you're very aware that if you want to be globally leading, that in many issues, in most issues, you're actually not strong enough on yourself, and you need to join up, you need to team up efforts with like-minded regions elsewhere in Europe who have complementary skills and expertise. And that is what we actually do in the Vanguard initiative. And the ambition is also clear. Again, we want to be globally leading. In industrial innovation, because that is our domain. That's also why we are called Vanguard. We are forerunners, and we want to unite with the best, the four motors, of which Lombardy region is a founding member, so Baden-Württemberg, Catalonia, Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, and Lombardy. My own region in the Netherlands, Flanders, we're all very strong, and we team up with those who maybe are not that yet, but who have a really strong ambition in industrial innovation. So it's not only the very, very best teaming up, but those with a big ambition in industry and those with a hard reality on it today. And today we are 35 of those regions, and we look at it because that's an issue which somewhere in the discussion now or later maybe even deserves a bit of attention. We always look at it from a content point of view, which is value chains. So when we talk about a network of regions, we actually speak about, and now hold your breath, this is Brussels language, connected knowledge-driven innovation ecosystems, which are place-based, which means they are regionally anchored. They happen to be in a region which is a region, but that's sometimes a coincidence and sometimes not, because that is where the importance of regions come in. Public authorities, they define the supporting framework, both in regulation and in funding. So regions are really key. Lombardy region is key. My provincial authorities are key. But we do it for companies and knowledge institutes. As the colleagues from the cluster panel just before us, the final audience is companies. Those are the people we work for. And clusters, in who we truly believe as real intermediaries making things happen, are just a tool to reach that goal, not the other way around. AFIL is an example par excellence, I would say, in playing that role together with many others, like my own organization, Brainport Development. We call, again, expensive words, ecosystem orchestrators. That's how we call ourselves. In really turning an industrial sector where companies are often just connected via NASA codes into living ecosystems, really making the connections between the companies and the knowledge institutes happening. So that's what we are. We are a network of regions working for companies and knowledge institutes, but we also do things, and we organize ourselves in so-called pilot projects. Those are thematically focused networks, communities across our borders, bringing together again these companies and knowledge institutes on themes which contribute to the twin transition. For example, bioeconomy, efficient and sustainable manufacturing, hydrogen, all pilots which are led by Lombardy clusters contribute to that, and there are 5 more which also have the same goal. For example, in AI and 3D printing, where also other people from Lombardy, like Bianca Maria, who's in the room, contribute largely. So we have our own methodology, which is fully embraced by the colleagues from the European Commission. We map the value chain, we bring the people in touch with each other, they design collaborative projects. We try to find funding for them, public in first instance, although we should never forget the importance of private funding, hoping that they commercialize their new products and services. And to finish, and I will definitely take up the question that Marek posed, like what should we do in the future in the next round? Very important, many of these companies who often are already engaged in other networks, to apply for a highly competitive Horizon Europe project, they don't always need vanguards. I think we have to be honest in that. There are other networks that do that as well. We do that, we help them. I think we help companies, newcomers, to bring into the European funding programs, which is really key. But from this year on, we also have our own funding instrument called Finovate. So out of the 35 member regions, we will start next month in May with our own funding instrument, bringing together 11 regions committed today. Emilia-Romagna is one of them, thanks for that. And I was actually just before this meeting talking with a colleague from Lombardy region. We still offer the possibility for Lombardy to join as well if some technical issues would be able to be solved. So that is something we do, linking up regional funding in a pilot experience in 2024, hoping that this will continue in the next years. We will start with lower scale, also in volume, lower scale in money, but connecting companies in innovation projects, the higher TRLs. But if this would work, I even believe that in the future we could go up to funding technology infrastructures. For example, you mentioned the topic of infrastructure. The technology infrastructures are key for our industry. Open access facilities, which they cannot afford themselves, where they have access. This could even be something which could find a source of funding in the future in Finovate, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you touched a really important point, which is, I mean, the importance of the networks. I mean, every country has faced this topic, I guess, with even the pandemic. If I think about the life sciences value chains, if we had a stronger regional collaboration in Europe, probably we would have been faster in producing, identifying the right molecules, therapeutics. So I guess there should be even more region, time by time, joining this kind of reasoning. And with this link, I give the floor to Ms. Elisabetta Maini, which represents Emilia-Romagna region. So I would be interested, of course, to share your role and your vision with the audience, but also to know what's the role for you of international networks and programs happening in Europe or, I mean, all around the world. So what are you doing as a region?
Thank you. Thank you. Let's say that Emilia-Romagna region is involved into front concerning interregional programs and international network. First of all, we started with the involvement of one of our actors, of our stakeholders, which are the cluster. In Emilia-Romagna, in 2017, we set up 7 clusters which were connected to our smart specialization strategy. These clusters are focused on the main sector of Emilia-Romagna, which are, of course, building, mechanics, health, and so on. And the aim was to create a bigger community involving private and public bodies. Now we have reached 11 clusters from the 7 we started, and we cover, of course, the main theme of twin transition. We have ICT, big data, and green tech clusters. These clusters are very part of our international activities, because thanks to them we can be part of several networks and of several interregional cooperation projects. As a region, we tried to push their activities in this sense. We launched 2 calls. The first one was focused in order to scout inside their community, taking into consideration that now they involve around 800 subjects, to scout which project can be interested in terms of value chain, in terms of challenges, in particular concerning twin transition. And with this call, we scouted several number of projects. I don't remember the exact number, but it was very high. And then with the second call, we decided to finance a support to them in order to apply to EU funding programs like Horizon Europe, LIFE, HI3, and they were also involved in a call of the Regional Innovation Valley. So this was the strategy that the region followed in order to be part with this representative of the regional innovation ecosystem into international programs. Of course, we are part also as a region itself. We belong to several networks. Vanguard has mentioned before, but another historical, let's say, network is ERIN, very strategic for our policies of innovation and research. And recently we took part also to a network very focused on sustainable economy, the Blue Sustainable Economy Partnership, which is one of the 49 Horizon Europe network. And we decided to take part to this network because this is a growing sector, a niche but growing sector in our region. And it is also an interesting field of activities in order to try to set up synergies among Horizon Fund and ERDF funds, because it permits to use both contribution. And it's also an interesting field of activities for trying to set up the first step of twin transition, as it involves project that involve both digital transformation and sustainability activities.
Thank you very much. Sounds really interesting and smart choice what you're doing. Trying to exploit the clusters to represent you in the international tables and programs and make them work together. So I think about what Horizon Europe is trying to do, so to connect the clusters, so healthcare, digital and security, green economy, and I guess this is also something we're trying to do also here. Like today we'll meet also with a different cluster to see how to merge strategies and to reach different objectives, putting together different themes actually that we should work on together for sure, merging competencies. So I'm going to the next speaker, so Professor Sergio Cavalieri, University of Bergamo. It represents a historical institution in Italy, working in Italy and also in international network for sure. So what's your point of view? What's your role in international networks? What you're doing in terms of twin transition with companies or?
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone from my side as well. Regarding our university. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Alessandro. Regarding our university, we are located in Bergamo, but also in the suburban areas of the Bergamo area, so the same of Vittoria. It's not by chance that we have a company here from the Bergamo area because it's a very industrialized district, province. Bergamo and Brescia in particular are one of the most, it's called the manufacturing valley, let me say, because they group a lot of companies. Historically, these companies are, most of them SMEs, working more at the sub-tier level, so tier 1, tier 2. So we have some OEMs, but are not so many. So most of the fortune on our companies derive from the fact that they are suppliers or sub-suppliers of big companies, above all automotive companies, in particular in Germany. And the importance of the value chain and the network was quite evident during the pandemic. You know that Bergamo was heavily affected by the COVID-19. And that time, there was a real problem at not only Bergamo level. Of course, it was a tragedy. It was something very tragic what happened in our areas. But there was serious problems also from some serious problems also from the manufacturing and the supply side because of the tight interconnection between companies, the supply chain. So German automotive companies were suffering lack of supply from Italian, in particular from companies from the Bergamo and Brescia areas. We use this kind of, let me say, analogy of the microchips of Intel within the embedded in the laptop. So as the same way we have the Intel inside, we can say that most of the value of the cars you drive are Bergamo and let me say Brescia. I include also Brescia as well, of course, and the Brescia side. So there is a lot of value which comes from with what is under I would say the chassis of a car. Being suppliers and being most of them also SMEs is of course an opportunity because provides a lot of flexibility. So these companies were able then to be resilient during that period, but it's a limit at the same time, and we are very aware of this, that in terms of innovation, in terms of capability to cultivate this transition to digital and green, I mean, they need to have some support. This is the role of university. Our university, our research centers work, trying to give this kind of bridge between what happens at the international level with what really companies need. So we speak the same language of SMEs. I would say we are the last mile university because we, of course, work very tightly with the companies. And this is an important role because the digital divide is one of the main issues. A digital divide which is not only in terms of competence, but also in terms of infrastructure. Of course, this is less evident in the valley, but more in the rural areas. In the rural areas, we have this typical problem of the digital, the height width band, for example, the digital divide of companies. And this created a shift from companies, from manufacturing, going down to the valleys from the mountain. What determined this kind of migration of companies, also for logistic reasons, of course, the desertification of the rural areas. So that's another important point, because what we are assisting at the moment, Bergamo, you have to imagine that the urban area is about 120,000 citizens. The whole province, which covers valleys and the mountains and valleys, rural areas amount about 1,200,000 people. Okay, so our role is also to have a look and try to give some future to the rural areas where we have desertification of companies, we have the risk of desertification of companies, the risk of desertification of population. And so the idea is how to help communities at the rural level try to cultivate new economies. And what we are assisting is trying to have a kind of spillover of the manufacturing know-how, the entrepreneurial know-how, from the brick and mortar, let me say, companies to more touristic or formal of rural, valorization of rural economy. So we are assisting this kind of attention of entrepreneurs to try to to give again, let me say, refurbish the economy of the rural areas. So that's a very important point. Thinking not only what at the manufacturing level, but let me say a level we can provide in terms of innovation, but let me say thinking also about those areas which have been neglected in the past and in the present, which are most of the, I would say, which are a really important value for the potential, in terms of potential for our economy. So that's very important, how to enhance the role and to provide innovation capabilities, not only to the, we'll say, industrial assets, industrial companies, but also to new types of economy at the rural level.
Thank you very much. Also to Professor Sergio Cavalieri. I think I tried to give the different perspectives from the really international level to the, let's say, to the territory. And I think what you said really represents the actual situation of how the innovation ecosystem in Italy works. There's a strong role of universities trying to transfer competencies and capabilities to SMEs, which represent 98% of our companies, so of our structure, enterprise structure. So it's interesting also that most of the times universities are part of international networks and clusters. So there's a lot of, let's say, technology and competence transfer that then directly goes to the small corporation that maybe are a little, they struggle a little, to be everywhere in international tables. So I think that the role of universities in Italy, but I think internationally it's really a key point. So let's try to go a little bit more in the theme of twin transition, and to do this I would ask to Mr. Alberto Lalumia again to give us an idea of what your company is doing right now. How are you applying this transition?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question, and I'm happy to answer on that one because we manufacture in Asia already, in ASEAN already since the 70s, before in Singapore and then in Thailand, and we opened several factories. And the latest one was we had the official opening done in October, actually with the strong support from Lombardy region. The President Fontana was present and with a strong delegation. And as I said, we do bicycle tires, which is for sure something difficult to be greener, but this time we open up the first factory in the world which is carbon neutral. We produce top high-end tires for bicycle made with cotton, and for example we don't use gas. We use for vulcanization we use induction presses. So to make it short, the whole process is carbon neutral, which is for us a very important achievement because it's what we believe. You know, by working on the bicycle business and also being able to claim that your manufacturing process is not polluting. It's a pride for all of us. And just a final point on that part. In our factory, we build the best and the most advanced bicycle tires in the world. At the last Olympic Games in Tokyo, we won over 40 medals in road, mountain bike, or track. So you not only can produce at cost-effective, but also high-end, top-end product developed and produced in the country, in ASEAN.
Thank you again. And let's try to ask you and to receive from you your perspective. I mean, you already mentioned it in the first round of questions, but let's try to understand, what do you think are the most important enablers, let's say, the most important tools we should have as countries, regions, organizations, to make this twin transition process faster? I will start with Mr. Kyle Winters. So what do you think, in your perspective of international organization, so as a World Economic Forum, what's the tools needed? I mean, you already mentioned the skills, the funding, but what do you think countries, like European countries and regions, needs?
Yeah, of course, and thank you for the question. I think it's twofold, or at least I'm going to approach it in a twofold manner. The first being, coming from the more global perspective of the forum, I wouldn't say that we've struggled in the past, but it's been difficult to get regional perspectives like we have in this room today. So our answer to that was creating what we call the Global Network of Advanced Manufacturing Hubs, which AFIL-Lombardy is a host entity of. It's 9 organizations around the world that take topics of manufacturing that are pertinent regionally, both challenges, opportunities, pilots that they're scaling, initiatives that they're running, government partnerships that they're bringing to their kind of small and medium-sized enterprises, to that global dialogue level. Conversations happening across leadership in Ulsan, South Korea, in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, in Italy, in Basque Country, in the United States, et cetera. And what we're doing this year with that group is really expanding it beyond the senior leaders of each hub, and opening it up to their host or their core champions, right? So the academics, the government officials, the small and medium-sized enterprises, as well as the multinationals that comprise those, to come together for a learning series of about 5 virtual workshops in which one hub will present kind of opportunities as well as partnerships from their region, and then it will be discussed kind of on a more global stage how these are pertinent by region. So I think having conversations like that, one, are important. I think the next part to my answer on the digital journey specifically is what we've seen from our Global Lighthouse Network, or GLN as we call it, which is 153 organizations that we've kind of put through a independent body of examination on the adoption of Fourth Industrial Revolution technology, not just on the factory floor, but at the network level. And what's really interesting about this community is by going through the award process and becoming a designee, you agree to share these 6 use cases that you submit with kind of the broader forum audience. So even if you're a multinational or an SME going through this, you agree that you're going to be sharing kind of the digitalization journey that you've undergone over the last about 6 to 8 years. And from that, we've really been able to find kind of 6 key enablers along the digital transition, around the twin transition. The first being kind of strategy and making sure that you're aligning your products, your services, your supply chain kind of needs with the flexibility of emerging tech that's coming from the market. The second is agility, and we've heard it on this panel today, especially from Vanguard, right? It's that idea of being able to fail fast and fail quickly in your kind of pilot purgatory phase, but implementing lessons of learning from that and kind of bringing that back into what you do next. Third, and I think most importantly, especially coming from the US, is talent, right? Continuing to change, enable both through internal and external reskilling and upskilling opportunities at that network level. Next is technology, right? Investing in not just your modern IoT architecture, but designing it for scale and for flexibility for what might come in the next 5, 10, or even 15 years. After that is kind of data, right? What are you doing with via the technology? What are you doing with the data that you're collecting, and ensuring that you have a single source of truth, like a data lake, that supports advanced analytics, and that there's no confusion between siloing of information. And kind of last is the adoption process, and I really want to hit home on that because it's what we see to be the most important,
and really exemplary of the GLN network as a whole is really having open communication for use cases and learning. So it's taking those kind of best practices and synthesizations across your network and being able to share them not just with kind of your operators and your facilities, but I think we're seeing more and more of a need to share that with our tier 1, tier 2, all the way down to tier 5 suppliers.
Perfect. So you gave already to everyone the full receipt for for enabling a faster twin transition. What about the perspective of Vanguard? We talked a lot about collaboration, but what's your point? What's your perspective on this?
I think, and I'm also speaking as a Dutch region now, combined with Vanguard. I think it's really extremely important and admirable what we are doing now on all levels, regions, countries, and European Commission on all the efforts to support energy-intensive industries, for example, and on greening chemistry. But we definitely shouldn't forget about shaping the new economy, which is, I think, in a large part, manufacturing and high-tech industries, which are not really polluting industries. They don't take a lot of space. There's high added value. In my own region, we always speak about we make low volume, high mix, high complexity machines, which basically means we don't produce a lot, but we make a lot of money with it, and we employ a lot of people. And these new economy types often take time. I mean, I'm the first to acknowledge we definitely need speed and agility, etc. But in terms of the twin transition, for example, we are very much focusing on photonics, which was also one of the smart specialization partnerships. I think Marek still knows this very well. The photonics companies we have in my region, which are now on the level of pilot production, so still not mass production, they claim, they say that their work is based on old Philips research from 30 years ago. So that's sometimes how long it takes to get to this stage. So I think in terms of support, like consistent, long-term support for R&D and their ecosystem partners is really, really important to get to a situation where what we in the Netherlands now call to take control points in the value chain, to really be in a position where the world cannot live without you. You are unmissable. You were talking about Brescia and Bergamo inside. Well, I think Europe inside might be a nice goal, because then we are taking value chains as the approach. We are globally leading as Europeans, but we're not afraid of global realities, because reality is global. I have companies in Eindhoven which are opening factory plants in Malaysia these days, because that's just reality. We're not going to stop that. And we shouldn't, as long as we're not afraid of our own strength. So that's, I think, not today's Vanguard take, but I think it should be tomorrow's Vanguard take on the issue, and hopefully the one from the Commission as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. What about the regional perspective? So what about Emilia-Romagna? What do you think could be your role in making this process faster?
Let's say that the Regione Emilia-Romagna has approached the twin transition starting from for framing. We started a pact in 2019, which is called Pact for Climate and Labor, with more than 50 stakeholders at the regional level, which include enterprises, banks, research institutions, NGOs. Each of them signed the pact with the aim to work on a regional development based on sustainability, not only from the environmental point of view, but also from the economic point of view. And this was the framework on which we wrote our ERDF program and our smart specialization program, on which we base all calls and all support to our regional stakeholder. Starting from this, let's say we gave the step, the next stage was to enabling regional actors to use this money all in the same direction, in the direction of twin transition, to concentrate project calls and all the money into this direction. This was, let's say, a phase of piloting towards the transition. Next step probably should be of a more cooperative activities between public and private, because I think it's the only way to reach this kind of transition. Government maybe is more concentrated on regulation aspect, administration. Instead, enterprises can bring the research of solution which are useful for all the community. And in this sense, we are setting up also an experimental laboratory in this sense, which is derived from a model of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's called Sensible Lab, and it will be the first place where we'll put into practice, we will try to put in practice the research of solution for digital transition, starting from the problem of the city, first of all, because it's a concentration of, of needs, of course.
Beautiful, thank you very much. And I think the National Recovery Plan gave us another chance to work on research intervention programs together with universities. So let's concentrate on the university perspective. And so, Professor Cavalieri, what do you think are the enablers right now, and what could you do?
Yeah, I think that the main enabler are the people, the human capital, as it was also mentioned before. Of course, I mean, I'm a bit biased because an educational mission as a university. But let me give you some numbers. In Bergamo area, which has an unemployment rate of less than 3%, so it's we have full occupation in our full employment in our area. If you consider the range 25-34-year-old, so the young guys and people, only 15% have an academic degree. Only 1 out of 2 have a high school of degree, a diploma. So this gives an idea about the fact that we have a very important, very strong labor force, strong in terms of muscles, but less strong in terms of knowledge. And if you think about all the challenges that we have in this period, geopolitical, all the technological challenges that require a lot of capability to anticipate, interpret, try to understand the phenomena, not just be skilled as a labor force. This is an incredible limit, incredible problem we have. So first of all, we need to try to enhance and raise the educational level of our young people. The second point is, I was mentioning the geopolitical side, and what we are trying in the university, and this is a main potential coming from, I mean, I used to have my degree in engineering school at Polytechnic Milan, and we used to talk about interdisciplinary approach. But I mean, it was just a matter of an engineering, physics engineering, energetic engineering, or management engineering, but always engineers. In my university, we have a wide spectrum of disciplines, ranging from humanities, law, economics, psychology, of course, also engineering, and so on. And I'm trying to exploit at best this potential. Thinking about a new kind of professionalism, which could come from the hybridization of different disciplines. So, for example, we have digital humanities. We have sustainability with different, with a real, I would say, a wide perspective, not just, it's important, the CO2 aspect, but trying to talk about inclusiveness, to talk about ethics, because we have people working on this. We have a new, just started this year, a new course, master degree in philosophy, putting together colleagues from the philosophy department with colleagues from engineering, from IT, from economics, because we need to have philosophers, we need to have a professional coming from the humanistic side in companies in order to understand the complexity of the phenomena which at the moment we have to tackle. So that's the other point, I would say. First one is education, qualification of young people, and of course upskilling, reskilling, and lifelong learning. The other point is hybridization in terms of the educational offer, putting together different disciplines, because really, the new jobs require this kind of, let's say, multi-faceted perspective from different disciplines. It's very, very tough, because having together in the same table, around the table, engineers with colleagues from humanistic, from law and economics, it's a real Babel tower. But believe me, after 1-2 years, I can see the potential, which is really very good, I would say, opportunities coming from, and results coming from this melting pot of disciplines.
Thank you. So can we say there should also be a better dialogue and collaboration between companies and also universities too?
Yeah, I would say another point is multiculturalism. We are also working with companies to make them aware of what's happening on the other side of the world. We have this experience with the China-Italy lab on advanced manufacturing, and this is an important, and it's bi-directional, because we understand how speed is important, because they are going very fast, these countries, but at the same time we can give some also best practice from our side. Sustainability. Now we are addressing the aging society, which is coming, which we are, managing from our side. We have very good research centers, and we can give some best practice to transfer to Far East countries.
For sure, thank you. This is another international global challenge, I would say, of all the most developed countries actually, and we need to face it. We need to face both this intergenerational transition and the different needs of the workforce. In Italy, I think in the last 10 years maybe, there has been a shift from employees over 50s, they were like 26% 10 years ago, now they are 39%. So almost, we're going to the 50%. So the needs are changing, and also the needs, the skills the company needs to keep up with the innovation are changing a lot. So since Alberto, you represent the only company in this table, in this round table, I would leave you the last comment about what we are saying, and also in your perspective of Chamber of Commerce, what do you think are the factors that can enable your twin transition and to make it faster, coherent, and consistent?
Yeah, you touch a point that is a little bit the weak part that we see in Asia. They are fast growing, it's a young population, and economically is booming, but still is very much in developed. If I look at what is happening here in Europe, the clusters, the region, and all this part is not yet there. Chamber of Commerce, where I have the honor of being one of the directors, we try to step in between to help. But our means are limited, and unfortunately there is not coordination with other European Chamber of Commerce. There is the EU Chamber of Commerce, but just work on some political issues. So I would say we need a bit more coordination to try to learn from what is done here.
Well, I guess you gave us a lot of really interesting points of view, and there's a lot of food for thoughts, and also for the final report of this day. So I don't know if there's any question from the audience, actually, for our speakers, because I think we are running out of time, and we should then jump to the final session.
Maybe just a point with Alberto Lomia, but you almost answer the question. You said, if I understand, that the Asian network has replicated somehow the European Union model for low taxation and easy moving inside the countries. Do you think the cluster model between governance, research, industry, world, and also civil society, in like you listen today, can be replicated and useful also for the development of the next year in the Asian geography area?
I think so, but I think it's still a tough challenge. You know, they're working, for example, in a unified currency, but there is still a long way to go. I mean, Europe is like Europe 30 years ago. So a lot. Just to make an example, quick one, and then we can go to aperitif. But no, the 10 countries, they have a very, very different GDP per capita, because, for example, you go to almost $100,000 in Singapore to the 1,000 in Myanmar. So it's still a long way to go, but eventually, yes, I think that would be useful.
So we have something to sell to
yes,
you. Okay.
Yes, you can come.
That's the first question. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Please, Theodora, the stage is yours again, and Samuel, be ready for your intervention.
Thank you very much for the panelists and the moderator of the last discussion. And I would like now to welcome on the floor Samuel Monaco, the Communication Institutional Affairs Manager from AFIL. Samuel, thank you. While you're joining me, thank you for all the hard work during the last months and engagement. So please, the floor is yours for the wrap-up and final instructions for tomorrow's day. Thank you.
Thank you, Theodora, and also thanks to everyone that organized this event, in particular AFIL team, but also Lombardy region for supporting us and inviting us to such nice premises here. So first of all, also thanks to the participants that are here, despite of the nice weather that is expecting you outside. So the Milan has welcomed you with such a nice weather in spring, but you will have time. Maybe tomorrow, hopefully, the weather will be better. So I will try to be brief because today we have listened to a lot of speakers. There was a lot of food for thought, and the speakers that were given the floor today were coming from Lombardy, from Italy, from Europe, but also from outside Europe, and. Everyone has talked about their activities, their challenges and priorities, but what was in common for everybody was the topic of the twin transition. Twin transition that, as we have listened to, can be, let's say, explained with four keywords, which are circular economy, sustainability in the sense of environmental, economic, and social aspects, then digitalization, and also artificial intelligence. And today we had the opportunity to listen to Fabiana and Marcello talking about the research and innovation priorities on this topic. So that was the official presentation of this document that AFIL has contributed to, together also with the other Lombardy Technology Cluster, Lombardy Region ecosystem, and everyone else that was, let's say, involved on this very actual and current topic. So in addition to the twin transition, we have also listened to some more information about Lombardy, so the economic profile that maybe some of you were not knowing that well, and also about what the Lombardy clusters ecosystem is doing for Lombardy, for companies, and also for the citizens, as we will see tomorrow in one specific session. And what is clear from today is that we are finding ourselves in a moment of change. In the past, we had a pandemic that was mentioned a few times today, And in this present, we also have some wars that are affecting countries near to Italy, but also to the European Union. But ahead of us, we have a lot of opportunities, and some of them are directly linked to the European Union, in particular to the EU elections that will take place at the beginning of June 2024, the EU industrial policy that was mentioned by the European Commission at the very beginning, but also to the industrial policy that was mentioned as well during the same intervention. So in this sense, the ecosystem that we are all part of is crucial to follow up on the discussions that have taken place today and that will continue tomorrow. And together we can also try to influence the future we are part of, but also the future that other people that are not directly involved can benefit from. So again, a special thanks to European Cluster Collaboration Platform for organizing this event, but also for European Commission and ISMEA for supporting us. Lombardy Region again for the premises, and the sponsors that have made this event taking place.